What's up? Black men have to condemn other black men who just want to fit in. Now, if you're a black man out there and you're trying to self improve and you're trying to gain a grounded identity in being a black man and learning your history, learning who to look up to in history, becoming more financially literate, eating healthier, having a more calisthenics based workout, and also, learning how to come together with other black men and uplift the black community. If you're interested in increasing yourself in those ways, I have a deep dive guide on all of those things. If you're interested in that as a black man, the link for that will be in the comments of this video, the description of this video, and you click on my channel in the bio section, you'll see the link for that. Now, when we start to dive in why we have so many problems in the black community, there's a lot of black men out there that are entrenched inside of the culture, which means I gotta act like a thug, I gotta act like a player, I gotta be promiscuous, uh I gotta perpetuate the stereotypical black man. Now let me make a distinction. I'm not arguing that a man can't be confident and a man can't have swag and all these type of things. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of black men out there that think that they have to go in a negative direction to be cool instead of going in a positive direction. We see that a lot of the times it's kind of condemned or it's not socially accepted when a guy is like a positive guy. A guy is like a happy person, right? And we have to start looking at being a good man in a light where a good black man in a light where we don't have to act like a thug. We don't have to be self-destructive in order to be accepted. And I really think it's important for the men out there who maybe didn't fit into the culture, maybe never, fit those archetypes of like a player or a thug or a gangster or a drug dealer. They never fit that archetype. I never fit that archetype, right? So I think it's easier for me to be like, okay, that's clearly wrong. Because a lot of dudes out there, they'll get inside this mentality of they'll always hate the people. They'll always hate where they were never accepted, right? And I used to be like that. I used to be like, well, I don't like y'all just because y'all never really accepted me. But now I'm in the mentality where, you know, I don't care if I'm being accepted. I want us to help each other and I want us to do things in a positive way where it's gonna reinforce positive good relationships. It's gonna reinforce, a positive and a good community, a prosperous culture, a prosperous community. And I think that that's the thing that I'm more seeking out now rather than seeking acceptance. Because when I was younger, I seek acceptance. So I try to throw myself into the archetype of this type of guy or that type of guy just to be accepted culturally. And that's where a lot of the hate came from because I would try to do that and I still wouldn't fit in. But now I understand that, you have to start looking at things at a more logical level instead of getting caught up in how somebody think or how somebody look at you. When you start to look at things on a more logical and a reasonable level, you start to see that, okay, that's clearly not going to help you, even if it's a quote unquote cool thing, which, it's bad that we consider uh, those things like cool, right? And you know, this is heavily in the black community. This is not a thing where this is something hard to spot out. You can easily spot this out. You can spot this out with anybody in this town, with anybody in the next town over, with anybody where black people are. You're gonna spot that culture of like being a thug. You're gonna spot that culture of uh being degenerate, being hypersexual between the man and the woman. You're gonna spot that out, right? And it's gonna be easy to spot it out. And so one thing I'm trying to really get a lot of men who aren't like that and they see they're like minded like me, uh understand we do have to condemn those men. We do have to condemn those women. And I believe that we don't really do that enough because we went into a generation where they want to make the black man be as effeminate and not speak his mind and not really even be strong anymore, right? So I think that that plays a role in all of this type of stuff because nobody will say nothing. Nobody, because now it's like it's taboo. It's taboo if I say, you know, a man shouldn't pick up the ideology of like a woman. A man shouldn't think like a woman. A man shouldn't act like a woman, right? And this is something that's like to me targeted in the black community, specifically to black men. Why? Because the black man is revolutionary. The black man is not weak. He's like, when you put him in his natural state, he's not weak. you know he's not inferior to anybody, right? He's not under anybody. He's not inferior to the white man. He's not inferior to the black woman. He's not inferior to anybody, right? And so I feel like they target us, so we get to a place where it's bad for a black man to be like in this context where he's strong and he's thinking for himself and he's not trying to be a thug, right? And it's hard because you're on the black community will sit here and say, okay, the black community will sit here and say, okay, oh, he corny, he lame, he this and he that. Why don't we see that in the white community as much? We don't see that as much. We really don't. If you see a dude who's like smart and doing good and stuff, they're much less likely to call him like a cornball or something. You can anybody you can find, in any race can be probably corny or lame or whatever you want to say, but a lot of times people just throw that out there because they're doing something against the culture. And I think in the black community, when you see a black man, it's like he's not this culturally formed type of guy. Like he's just not accepted by that culture and he's not operating within that cultural framework. Then that's when you see the black woman say, oh, he corny, he lame, he look this. And the black dudes, oh man, he something wrong with him, he weird, he lame, he corny, and you see that, and it's like it's just a thing where it's like a psychological thing where in order for me to be accepted, in order for me to be a man in the community, I gotta be a drug dealer. I gotta be a super thug, right? I gotta be this, like hypersexual dude who sleep with so many women and so many women and so many women, right? Uh, and I want to kind of, say too, like, getting women and sleeping with women and stuff, it has to be in a context where it's gonna help you. And I think do it in a context where it's going to help you and it's going to be a thing where you're going to actually be able to raise your kids, and it's going to be in a appropriate environment, an appropriate setting where it's actually going to be helpful. It's not just you slept with this many women and it's like you're not even there really. So that's pretty much all I got to say, man. Peace out.